Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It's Christmas.
It is almost Christmas, yeah.
Oh, I said it was Christmas.
Oh, it was Christmas.
Is it not? Isn't Christmas
No.
on December 15th?
Coincidentally, I was thinking like earlier, I was like, I should do it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, and then somehow work in Rittenhouse,
Yeah.
make it and then I quickly abandoned the idea as just being like, I don't know, not workable. Yes.
Wise decision on your part.
So, but yeah, Christmas is right around the corner.
Oh, I thought it was today. I'm sorry.
It's not today.
I'm Jewish. I don't know these things. I'm not aware of this holiday that people.
Well, maybe if you're celebrating happy holidays, it can be today.
I'm just too busy celebrating happy holidays to not.
Christmas is.
This is why we're in a war.
That it is the reason for the season.
Me and my wife in the summer, we did this thing where we drive around the neighborhood around this time of year and look at we'll drive to the store and we'll look at all the Christmas lights.
Uh-huh.
And there's this one house. I wish I took a picture of it. It's like all these houses are all festive, and they put lights up, and it's really nice. And some people and then there's like this one house. It has a spotlight on a sign, a big wooden cross next to it, spotlights on the sign that says like, he's coming for you or something.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, or Jesus is coming for you.
Okay.
I wish I took a picture of it. I'll have to check back on you on what it said.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. I'm
That
like,
sounds
wow,
ominous.
that is just unsettling. Like it's just like creepy as fuck. It's like, man, I hate to be these people's neighbors.
Yeah. It's always an awkward, like, oh, put up the display again, huh, Bill?
The old threat again. Oh, you're putting up the old fucking psychopath
Right.
sign. You're cool.
Time for another real uncomfortable conversation with my child. Because of my neighbor.
Thank you. Thank you for making it hard for me to sell my house in the future.
Right.
I want to make sure I don't sell this house during this time of year.
Right. Yeah.
Like the rest of the year, though, like there's a different sign. It's like 10 times worse. Like just like they have like the 10 Commandments out on their arm or something. I don't know. Some people would probably like that around here, though. So who knows?
Wow.
It is not. I was kidding. It's a joke. It is
Yes.
not correct. And I want to apologize to the people listening.
Right.
You know that people are very sensitive.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to this stuff, you
Yeah.
know, we are in a war. Of war.
It is. Yeah. The war on Christmas.
I mean, I know we were going to talk about this later, but we might just get this one out of the way.
All right. Yeah.
The Fox News Christmas tree.
Oh, $500,000.
Well, we talked about that. We made a Yule log video of it.
Yeah.
You can find it on our Twitter. I think it's on Instagram. I don't know if you
think so. Oh, it was a story, I believe.
I think you need to post it on. You need to post it on.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can watch that while opening your gifts. That could be your Yule log. But the thing that's funny about it is Fox was putting out this thing claiming that the tree. Well, first of all, they said that they tried blaming Joe Biden for it.
Right.
Someone asked, like Jen Psaki, it was the same Steve Ducey's son.
Steve Ducey. Oh yeah.
Which that should be his name, Steve Ducey's son. Like he doesn't actually get a name.
Yeah.
And he was.
I would nickname him Tracy. Like because
Ducey?
because Ducey is the second, and he's like, I would assume he's the third in the line. I would call him Tracy. Just
I got you.
Like
right.
Ducey, Tracy.
I just thought they were like actual pieces of shit.
No.
Drop a Ducey.
Yeah, they tried to blame Joe Biden for the crime wave in front of the Fox.
Yeah, he tried to blame Joe. Like, why didn't Joe Biden let that homeless man like supposedly some homeless man did it or something?
Yeah,
there's no like agenda or anything like that. But the funniest thing about it is not really worth talking about anymore. But they try to like turn this into like 9/11. I was watching like majority report, and someone wrote Sam City and said it was Pine 11. Pine 11. Do you remember when the Fox News Christmas tree burned? I wonder what war we'll get into because of this Christmas tree.
Oof.
But they claimed, the funniest thing about it is that they claimed that $500,000 worth of damage was done, which is insane. Because
that is crazy.
It did not cost that much.
No,
do you know how much
there.
I found? Do you know how much the Rockefeller Christmas tree costs?
Oh, you told me, but I wouldn't have guessed. What is it? It's like a little under 100,000.
You would think that one is, if that tree is, that this tree in front of Fox that burnt down supposedly. Well, I mean, it did. But, this false flag operation done by Fox in the war Christmas. If that cost $500,000, and you would think that the tree in the Rockefeller Center cost like $5 million.
Oh yeah,
that thing's massive. You ever seen it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've not seen it in person, but obviously I've seen it.
I've seen it in
times.
person. I used to work around there. I've seen it a bunch of times. It is massive. I'm watching them put it together. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The tree itself, it's like $78,000.
I was going to say, because I bought like a 7-foot tree and it cost me $130. So just some basic math will tell me that tree.
Right. You just get volume and also trying to get it through the city.
Yeah. Plus renting the car to drive it there and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of what do you call it? A lot of stuff goes into how they're going to do that. But there's no way. So Fox is like, okay, are you lying to your audience or are you lying to your insurance agent? The tree was $500,000. I mean, I think they're just lying to, I think they're doing what they're usually good at doing, which is lying to their audience.
Yeah. Well, their audience is probably doing what it's good at doing, which is not thinking about what Fox says critically at all and just sort of accepting it literally without any examination.
They might as well just say the tree was $5 million, and I think their audience would believe it.
Right. They probably would.
I think they would say too that that you could say that the tree was caused by Dr. Fauci.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and they would probably believe that.
Yeah.
And Jesse Smollett.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't really have else to say about that. I think we were going to save that for later.
Yeah.
Since I started such a festive
Christmas themed comment. Yeah.
Yeah. You correcting me on that. Isn't it true though that Jesus wasn't even born on the 25th? Yeah,
I think that they just co-opted the Yule holiday. Like a lot of the Christian holidays, they like when the Roman
acquired.
Well, when the Romans came over and they went into like England and Scandinavia and everything, they wanted to like put Christianity onto the natives, and what they would do is kind of merge the holidays, and that's why we have like a tree for Christmas or an egg for Easter. We have like a lot of these pagan holidays kind of overlaid on top of the Christian theology.
Well, I guess that's why we are a Christian nation. The United States stole everything, and
right.
So the Christians.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. Like a lot of them probably never stop and think for a moment critically, like, well, why do we dye eggs and associate?
Yeah, I never understood that one with Easter. Like as a kid, I was raised Jewish, so, and I always found Easter around this time. This is gonna be
right.
I noticed people were more anti-Semitic around Easter.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because you find it, and I'm like, wait, what? Well, and I'm not going to get into that. We'll save that for the next podcast. But I'm like, wait, I thought it was just this cute holiday with like an Easter bunny and like candy. And it's like, no, it's like the resurrection.
Yeah. Well, they eat the egg and the bunny are both like fertility symbols. It's just
but they were not, but you said they're from pagan holidays.
Yeah, like the pagan holiday, I think it's like Maibach or something. Like, there's like a springtime holiday that's like basically like
the movie Midsummer.
Well, but like rebirth, and stuff like that, which obviously matches with the resurrection. But like that's eggs are a symbol of fertility, and bunnies like they fuck a lot, and they're a symbol of fertility.
They love to fuck.
They do.
Those bunnies.
Bunnies always DTF.
They are down to Down for fun.
Right. So this has gone off on a
I mean, I'm
direction.
surprised that that movie Peter Rabbit wasn't a porn.
Yeah, the first Peter Rabbit was really good. I thought that was a good one.
I haven't seen the second one yet. I think it's on Netflix. But I have to catch it. I liked the first one. It was cute.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Anything fuzzy is adorable.
Yeah.
No, that's actually not true. All right. Well, what are we talking about this week, Joseph? Because
we're going to talk about Hawkeye. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. Talk about climate change. Talk about Mark Meadows and the phone record subpoenas. We're talking about some voter fraud, some proven voter fraud.
Clearly, the libs and the Democrats, right?
No, wrong. It is. It may shock you. We'll get to that later.
I cannot. I'm going to be shocked beyond shocked.
It looks like the first stop of the Kyle Rittenhouse tour is landed. It looks like Turning Points USA conference or something.
Yeah, that's gross.
And then we're going to talk about the word cracker.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that. I'm already offended just thinking about it.
Yes. It's so, and that'll be the show. So it should be a good one. We'll start out with Hawkeye. I like, it's funny.
Hawkeye is his show on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Just in case you guys were wondering what Hawkeye is.
We're going to do a deep dive.
We're not talking about the guy from MASH.
Character analysis from MASH.
We're not talking about Alan Alda's character, Hawkeye from MASH. Just be clear.
I thought you texted me, said, have you watched Hawkeye yet? I said, no, I'm going to watch it. Is it any good? You said, well, I'll let you decide or whatever. And so I was ready for a shaky episode. I thought it was really good. I liked this episode a whole lot.
Yeah, I liked it too. I kind of still there's only one episode left. I hope it's a little longer. I feel like there's a lot to get done. Spoilers, we're going to spoil this episode. This is episode 5 of Hawkeye. On the last episode, we've talked about every episode so far. If you've been listening to the podcast, we tend to talk about the stuff in the beginning, even though this time we talked about the Fox News Christmas tree and religions and the origins of them and all that. It's really a lot to unpack. Very deep subject matter. Now it's time to talk about something really important, like Hawkeye, which is still. I mean, we're talking. Hawkeye is basically a holiday Christmas TV series. It takes or Disney Plus streaming series. It takes place. It's a seasonal, just like that. They make a reference to. Do they make a reference to Die Hard in this movie?
I don't think so.
Has been proven to be a
Christmas
holiday movie as well. So the movie begins with. The episode begins with Yelena Belova and some other Black Widow thing.
Yes.
Basically she's doing what she was going to do after Black Widow, which is going to go around the planet and I don't know, free all the Black Widows or something. There's this mist. I guess in the beginning of the Black Widow movie, she gets that mist that gets her off of some programming they have.
Yeah, like a brainwashing of sorts.
So they go to this woman's house, but I guess she was already kind of deprogrammed already anyway.
Yeah.
And it takes place in 2018. And she's talking to them, a bunch of stuff goes down, whatever. Then she goes to the bathroom, she looks in the mirror, and then she vanishes.
Yeah.
Turns into dust. But then it pops back. She pops back right away. But then all the paint on the walls of the bathroom start to change.
Yeah.
Like an awesome sequence because she woke up 5 years later. So said that she witnessed it was nothing to her, but reality had to catch up to her or something like that.
It was a really effective scene.
They did some cool things. They did some cool, in the WandaVision, they would show Monica Rambeau when she came back.
Yeah, that was great.
She came back in the hospital room, and her atoms, you see everything start to build back up. This sequence is quicker. That sequence was slower, but they showed you that. I thought that was a really awesome scene. Somebody pointed out this, and I wonder if Marvel is going out of their way to try to they Hulk whatever knew that. But the idea of okay, I'm gonna bring everybody back and bring them back to the way they were 5 years later. But the thing is, the planet is moving all the time.
Yeah.
Earth is moving.
True.
We're never still. The planet moves around the solar system. I guess I didn't know this. The solar system is moving too.
Oh yeah.
We don't we are like traveling
Yeah.
throughout the galaxy or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
or
it's
the
all
universe.
oscillating, you know, and actually it's also actually expanding too. So
Wow. Freaky
like
deaky.
we're in a presumably around like the center of like where it all began. We are in this giant rotation, which itself is becoming more and more bigger, you know. And there's a theory, like a pretty decent theory, that says, and I don't know if I believe it or not, but a lot of like famous scientists believe it, that the universe is expanding, and at some point it will begin to contract. And what will happen at that point is that the entirety of our history will be replayed backwards. Like people will experience everything going backwards.
Like Benjamin Button.
Yeah, but like literally backwards. Like sentences being
like,
spoken backwards and like almost incomprehensibly backwards.
that's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
I was thinking Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know. We're here to talk about Hawkeye. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my mind expand. I don't like that. All right, so she woke up 5 years later, and which is like, actually, I thought that was really good. I'm glad they did that because it explains like, okay, where was she? How come like why would Black Widow call on her in those 5 years? Like,
yeah. And
so it makes sense that she would be out of the picture.
Yeah, and it explains that maybe she doesn't have the greatest grip on what's happened over the last 5-10 years.
But why wouldn't she show up in the end battle with the Avengers?
Oh, that's a good
no,
question.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm not gonna fault her on that. It's not her fault. You know, like Doctor Strange and open up a little fizzy circle and be like, "Come on, we need you.
We need everyone."
We need every character in every movie show up.
I liked her character a whole lot in this episode.
Yeah,
she had some really funny lines. The actress who I never loved was really good in this one. I think they gave her a little more to do and a little more range, which I liked a whole bunch. And I thought it was I liked it. I thought
she had a really funny line in the show. I'm trying to remember like what it was.
She had so many. I thought she had so many. She was the one where she's asking Kate Bishop if she's ever had reindeer. Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, explaining like has this be raised. No, that's a great scene. Her talking to Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like where it'll go. I do like her character. What's interesting about her though is that like Black Widow never sounded Russian.
Right. Yeah.
They never really tried to give her an accent or anything. No. And Black Widow is Russian, and she has a Russian accent.
Yeah.
So this is like the closest thing to get to that, which is fine. And she does it in a way that it's not like annoying. Like,
yeah,
hey Elizabeth, you know, like it's not that bad. I mean, I didn't ask him like I myself am Russian, so I can make all the Russian jokes I want.
It's funny.
I could say Russian with the hard R.
Instead of Ushin or something like.
Yeah, you could only say Ushin. I could say Russian.
Well, I thought
I'm allowed to do that.
As I was watching it, there was 2 times when I was like, "Is this what is this?" Like, one was when Yelena's like, "Have you ever had reindeer?" And I'm like, "Okay, this is almost like that." Like, who was it? Kate McKinnon's Russian woman on Saturday Night Live.
Oh. I don't know. She has all kinds of characters.
I was like, I wonder.
Oh, the Russian. She basically does like she did her own like Yakov Smirnoff thing.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this weird? Like, I didn't know like what to think. Like, are they going too caricature-ish on this? But with Yelena, the actress playing her, and it just worked really well. And then there was that other scene where the 2 movers in the Trust-a-Bro van. We're like,
you mean the 2 guys from the Tracksuit Mafia?
Yeah, the Tracksuit Mafia. When they were like talking, you know, it was they were like, they thought they looked like characters from the Royal Tenenbaums.
That's what the one guy said.
Yeah,
the 2 little kids. It's Ben Stiller's children. They wear those outfits.
Yeah,
but I guess he was referencing Run DMC.
Yeah.
Something, and he was like, no, he said, I thought it was more like Royal Tenenbaums. Yeah. It's funny coming from this really big guy. Like,
I was wondering, I was like, is this like kind of caricature, like an ethnic caricature or something?
Oh, come on, it's not. I love the one the first episode or whatever, the second episode when they capture him, and the guy's talking about Imagine Dragons,
Yeah.
and he says that he was like upset about or something, and Kate Bishop's like, "Oh, because you had to go." He's like, "No, I love Imagine Dragons." He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. Like,
There's
because you had to go, that's why you're upset.
there's just a lot to like about this episode. I thought I thought it did a really good mix of bringing in that comedy and stuff like that. And this isn't a complaint, but man, the show did a lot of work with this episode. It's like, oh, okay, let's wrap up the Ronin shit.
Yeah, I
Okay.
rewatched it again because
Yeah.
I watched it the first time. I was like falling asleep late at night.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I watched the rest and like bed on my phone. I was like, I'm like, it's good and everything like that. I wish more had happened, but then I rewatched it more awake.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. There's some theories going around. So like spoilers,
Yeah.
massive spoilers. It is, and I have some predictions or theories myself, but one of them is that there's a scene when Kate Bishop comes home and the dude who's like the swordsman guy, I forgot his name.
I know who you're talking about.
The guy who's gonna be her stepdad or whatever.
Yeah.
He's getting arrested.
Jack. Right.
Yeah, he's getting arrested and everything. And he's like, I'll be back and everything. Those two guys were not actual cops. The whole thing was bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
That was all for show or something. He was not really arrested. That was all bullshit because the mom, it's revealed basically in the end, the mom but supposedly Tracksuit Mafia actually works for her.
Right.
And she works for the, here comes the big spoiler.
Yeah.
She works for the guy from Full Metal Jacket, Private Pile.
She works for the Kingpin.
Yes.
Yes.
It is revealed that the Kingpin. Now, this is my theory because, like what it was like, okay, we know what's going on. Like the whole time throughout the show, Hawkeye keeps referencing to the big guy,
right,
and the boss. Like when he's Ronin and he confronts Echo and tells her like basically, your boss. He keeps bringing up your boss.
Right.
He's like, you should talk to your boss about who killed your dad because he's like, and the theory is that guy that does all the translations for her, that dude was told by Kingpin to basically kill her dad. Like Kingpin had her dad killed and he dressed up as Ronin and did that, supposedly. That's the theory, and she's on to him or something because like she's talking to him or whatever, and he's all
I thought Hawkeye was the one as Ronin who killed those people.
I don't think that's the case.
That what you're saying makes more sense, but
he's saying that like your boss had your dad killed. He didn't kill your dad, or maybe he was there, but he wasn't the one who killed.
Right.
He wasn't the one who killed them.
Well, I think Hawkeye killed them because Hawkeye says to Echo, someone tipped me off that night. That someone tipped me off to be there. And he's basically saying the translator guy tipped me off. That's why I was there. And that's why I killed all those people. And he's saying like, look, you and me are the same. We're just weapons. Someone pointed me in the direction of that warehouse or whatever. And I killed a bunch of people there. Sucks. But like, what you should be asking is who sent me there? Who pointed me as a weapon there?
See, this is why I should actually pay attention when I watch.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, regardless, he did not intend to kill. They make a reference to Kingpin. Now, this is my theory about the Kingpin and Hawkeye. Mike, why does Hawkeye have this history with Kingpin? Well, there was those 5 years in between, Endgame and Infinity War, and Hawkeye went on like this big crusade of like just going after crime bosses and stuff. And I imagine that he had many confrontations with the Kingpin during those 5 years.
That makes sense.
So as Ronin,
right,
and that's why he knows who the Kingpin is. That's why he's aware who he is. And that's why he's probably more tied to like the more street level crime people in New York, which ties back to like the Netflix shows. Now the theory is like, okay, is this Kingpin going to be the same Kingpin, even though it's the same actor? Performance will probably be similar and everything. Is he going to be still this? Like, are they really going to roll in these shows as part of MCU continuity? They kind of said they wouldn't, but they would. I don't know. Or like, are they gonna just kind of like he's a variant? Like this, those shows were not really part of the MCU. The budgets were lower.
Yeah, certainly.
Budgets are bigger on these shows. I'm just curious how they're gonna like. Are they gonna acknowledge things? I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think it needs to be this big like multiverse thing. They could just make a couple of references. They don't need to be married to those shows.
Right.
But, you know, you have those 5 years in between Infinity War and Endgame, and you could just show that, like, it makes sense how Hawkeye would have, like, a huge presence in New York and the crime scene or whatever. Yeah. And the Kingpin, even though no one knew it was Hawkeye, they knew it was as Ronin. So that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be a cool way to show that Kingpin, like, building up more power during those 5 years where there's less heroes around and less people, like the power ranking. The other theory, though, is that the Kingpin was blipped away too. That he was blipped away. So we don't know. I'm just assuming that there's a history between Ronin and Kingpin because there was a 5-year gap between Infinity War and Endgame. And so to me, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
That to me would make sense.
Me too. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I like the show. The Pete's dog's cute.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's good.
Grizz is cool.
Yeah, very.
I like that the LARPing guy is now like their friend. Sure, why not? Sure. Yeah. Somebody pointed out, I didn't see it, but like in the background of the LARPing scene in the second episode, when he goes there, somebody's dressed up as the classic Hawkeye character.
Oh, really?
Like the classic costume. It's all like leather and stuff, but it's like it has like the headpiece and everything. Yeah,
I'll check that out.
That's I guess funny. Next episode they supposedly get costumes though. Like,
well, he said
from that picture.
Yeah. Well, they said that the guy said before Hawkeye fell asleep on the couch, like, "Hey, your costumes are here. You want to check them out?" And Hawkeye's like, "Yeah, I'd love to," and then he fell asleep.
So I saw something on this a little while, like early on when the show was on, but some point up thing about like how Hawkeye is an interesting costume for like time in the 60s, because most costumes, like basically villains were green and purple.
Yeah, okay.
Joker wears green and purple. He's green hair.
Yeah.
Green Goblin's literally green and purple.
Yep.
Doc Ock usually is green, has some purple touches. Like a lot of Spider-Man villains have green and purple.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, because he started out as a bad guy, he has purple in his costume, but and he's a good guy. So this is an interesting thing on color theory for comics back in the 60s and 70s, how they would like, and usually good guys don't. Now people will say, "What about those characters?" That's fine, but a lot, especially around that time, most heroes never really wore purple. It was usually like a villain color.
Right, that is true. Huh.
But think about that for a while. While you talk about the universe going backwards.
The oscillating universe.
Man, I don't want to relive my life like that.
That'd be awesome, because you basically like come out of the ground, or if you were cremated, you'd like reconstitute.
That's getting weird. I mean, that's like, how does that even make any sense? Well, like, how would the world would even work? Like, you would just, like, it's just rewinding.
Yeah, that's the theory.
Life's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
Weird, man. You know, you just sitting there, you can talk about in your car, and you don't really put any thought into things, and then you're going backwards, eating, just spitting up your talking about into its original form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then does it play back again?
I don't know too much about the theory, but from what I understand of it is that the entire world kind of goes in reverse, rewinds. But like what makes you might not be there, like your consciousness or your, I would
imagine life would just restart. It would go boop, and then it'll go.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be an actual like rewinding a video type thing. That seems a little funky. Seems like a big production. Like
it does seem like a lot.
Like, do we really have to do this? Whoever is running the show. All right. Well, that has nothing to do with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
You have any predictions for next week?
I don't. Obviously,
You're like, I don't really care.
I think they're setting up Kate Bishop and Yelena to like be part of a new team that's coming up. So I think that
I wonder if Elaine Bennis will show up next week.
I don't know. I was wondering that too. Because I think Kate's gonna come into her own as a superhero. Hawkeye's gonna go kind of like semi-retire back with his family. The Kingpin will establish himself as kind of a threat that needs to be addressed in another series. And
or a movie or whatever, just a recurring villain.
Yeah. And I think that's where it'll end. Like the immediate crisis will be averted.
So you think they're setting up kind of like what they did with Kang in the end of Loki, where it was like they're basically introduced a new major villain or a version of that major villain, but this isn't going to be the last time you get to see that villain. Like, the Kingpin.
I think they're setting up like a new Avengers or whatever, the Young Avengers or whatever. It's going to be.
Well, that's been, especially with Kate Bishop.
And,
I mean, that's super obvious. I mean, I don't know if they're going to call them the Young Avengers. I'm sure that if they made a movie they wouldn't call it the Young Avenger, but one of the team members would go, "You mean like a Young Avengers?"
Right,
and then one of them will go, "Oh, that's so corny."
Yeah. And then like it'll cut to like an I Feel Good montage, where they're all like dancing to James Brown's as I Feel Good.
Yeah, cleaning. They're cleaning up a boat. Like they did that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They literally cleaned the boat. They did a montage just like one crazy summer where they fixed a boat. Holy shit, they did do that.
Probably do an animated hamburger set to Van Halen's Everybody Wants Some, something like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I think they'll do that. Oh, there's another theory that they're starting to reveal, like Hawkeye's wife is not just some regular like.
Yeah, what is the deal with that? She's clearly something.
The theory is that she is actually also was an agent.
Yeah.
She's Bobby Morse, who I think that's how you say her name. Mockingbird. Mockingbird is a character that Mockingbird's basically a well, that was that show, and that was a different actress, but they don't count that show either as like really. They consider that like a different multiverse thing or whatever.
Sure.
But in the MCU, Linda Cardellini is going to be playing, or is playing a retired, or maybe she'll get back in the field. Who knows? They do another, but she's actually Mockingbird.
Okay, I'd like that. Yeah.
It would, and to me that would make sense because Hawkeye has always had a relationship with this character. It kind of had like one of those like on again, off again romances. Right. The funny thing is, like, if Hawkeye is a ripoff of Green Arrow or because Green Arrow is a character from DC that also uses arrows, and he has on again, off again relationships with a character called what's her name? Damn it! I was about to say it was like Black something.
Oh, I don't know.
I was going to say Black Siren or Black Widow. I totally like screwed up when we had Green Arrows. Girlfriend. Superhero. So I'm just doing a Google research real quick.
Well.
No, that's Felicity Smoke. Get the fuck out of here. Oh. Diana Lance. Black Canary.
Oh, Black Canary. Okay,
yeah. A rip off of Black Canary. They're like the same character. So, and it follows that same thing. They team up and everything. And Hawkeye would team up with Mockingbird, and they would always have an on-again, off-again relationship. So it totally makes sense if they reveal it that she's actually Mockingbird. Yeah. Which would be cool, I guess. Sure. It'd be cool if they plan on doing anything with her. I don't know. She gets back in the field. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would make her character, it would make it the whole thing more interesting than her just being like an understanding wife from the Midwest.
I think so too.
It's like, come on, I made dinner. It's like so lame. It would and it makes sense that she knows all this shit. And I guess it's her watch that he's trying to find or something like that.
That would make, I've never understood
Which
that.
Could be that's like a really important watch, like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type watch, or I don't know. So there's a whole bunch of theories. I think people have like way too many, though. Like, there's only one episode left. I mean, there's only so much they can do.
Right.
I think they're going to reveal that Kate Bishop's mom might have been responsible for killing her dad.
Yeah.
Which I think is from the comics or something like that.
Yeah.
And they said they actually hint at the mom being the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia because she constantly wears red.
All right.
And the Tracksuit Mafia all wear red. And she's trying to get, and there's a scene where she's talking to her daughter, Kate Bishop, and trying to get her wear that red dress that she got her.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
So it's like her way of saying, like, you're part of my team.
Right.
You're wearing red.
Huh.
Again, part of that
Interesting.
color theory.
I buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're in your own like crazy out there fucking reality winding out and stuff. Sounds like a fucking literal nightmare. Like that sounds awful.
It does sound bad. Yeah.
Is coming back into your body.
Right.
Like, just shit coming back in it. Hold on. People are saying instead of taking a shit, I'm gonna get a shit.
Gather one.
I gotta gather a shit back into my body. That sounds like literal hell.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Sorry, dude. It's science, man. I didn't make the rules.
Right. That's it. That's just it's just a theory. You know, who knows what'll happen.
All right. Well, on that note, this is Ron Visual. Yeah, I like the episode. It was really good. I'm kind of bummed there's only one left because I feel like it's a kind of show that they could totally do like 10 and I wouldn't get sick of it.
Yeah,
I like all the characters. I like all the interactions. I like Yelena interacting with them. Echo is an interesting character. I think in the comics she can talk. I don't know if they're going to do that. In the comics, I'm pretty sure she talks, even though she's deaf.
I don't know, but I like all the characters. I like the setting. I like the story. I mean, there's everything I like. I like everything about the show, you know, and I don't know where I'd put it. I mean, these are all pretty different shows, but I like this one a whole lot. You know, it's been
I would
real
almost
fun.
love to know like more backstory on this version of Hawkeye. Like, I wish that if there's any complaint I have about the show, and maybe next episode will reveal more. I just kind of wish this would have been the opportunity to learn a little bit more about Hawkeye, the guy, like, and his history. And like I said, I know, and I made a joke saying like, oh, he worked in the circus and everything like that, but that is like part of his character, and you can still have him be a guy who was in a traveling circus or whatever, and also ended up joining like Shield or whatever the fuck whatever. Like, you know, he could have. That's where he learned how to do all the arrow stuff, and I thought maybe they would tie in that guy, Kate Bishop's future stepdad. Like they actually do know each other, and there's a history there. We'll see. Maybe they'll reveal that. Next week's episode should be good.
Yeah,
see what happens. I do love the animation in the end, like the little
that was fun
credit sequence, and they used "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," and it ended with the Kingpin, his silhouette. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So,
well, next week is the last Hawkeye, and it's competing with, I think, the same night the new Matrix premieres on HBO Max.
Yeah, so, that, I mean, you gotta watch that at home. Or you gotta see it in the theater.
Honestly, I'll probably watch it at home.
I'm gonna watch it at home too.
Yeah,
it's there. I mean, if I really like it, maybe I'll go see it. I don't know. I want to see Spider-Man. That you have to see in the theater.
Yeah.
That comes out tomorrow.
My daughter said she wanted to see that, and I took a couple weeks off work. I'm going to be off for a while, and so me and my daughter might go see that. I think that looks like a nice one to see in the theaters.
Yeah, and they don't really have an option to see it at home.
Well, yeah, that is the other. Yeah,
if you have HBO Max. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Speaking of which, really quickly, before we move on to the next thing, since you brought the Matrix, did you see that interview with Keanu Reeves and what's her name? Moss? What's the woman's name in the Matrix who plays Trinity?
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah. And they're being interviewed, and the guy brings up the NFTs or something like that. And he's like, and he just started laughing and saying they're easily reproducible.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then I guess he got asked again, and he just thinks they're crap. And I personally found that really refreshing, because if you listen to last week's podcast, we talked about celebrities that have been like endorsing crypto or getting paid to endorse crypto and NFTs, and it's like disappointing. It's kind of lame, and like whatever I feel like the product they're pushing is shady. So it's kind of cool to see. It's like Keanu has built up this like kind of this like he's an interesting person.
He's very interesting.
this proves again that this man doesn't give a fuck about like that he's an actor and he lives an amazing life and everything like that, but he doesn't need to be like, oh, I have to go hawk fucking NFTs to make more money. Like,
Keanu Reeves seems like the definition of being comfortable in your own skin. You know, like he seems like he's pretty comfortable and confident with who he is, and he doesn't need to go chase an NFT or something.
Or crypto commercials like Matt Damon, which is weird. Dude, you're in tons of movies still. Like, what do you need a hawk? Like, that's so bizarre.
Right.
But like, and it was just funny that his response to it, it's like, he doesn't say he hates it. He doesn't say anything. He just says something that just completely deflates it. Because if you ever talk to people about like NFTs or any certain types of crypto, on how it's being used here in the United States, if you bring up those simple truths, it's a very easily like, it's easy to just be like, yeah, this is stupid. Like,
it's easy to poke holes in it. That's
and it's very
true.
easy to poke holes in NFTs. And it was just great seeing him just kind of be like, and he carries weight.
Yep.
People like love him. He's been in like a bunch of different franchises. And it's really fun too, because I guess the other joke was, Catherine Moss, am I saying her name right?
Carrie Ann Moss,
sorry. When they brought up that there were these exclusive NFTs to the Matrix movie or something like that, Carrie Ann Moss was like, wait, are we getting paid for that? Which is smart on her part to bring that up. I'd be like, I'm not promoting this shit.
Right.
Fuck that. But this is great to see like the lead of the movie just like, just take a big shit on the entire, like, without having to really do it. Like, not like, you don't have to say like,
he just laughed.
Stupid. He didn't say, he just brought up the simple fact. It's like the whole right click save.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, oh no, see, you need to have the digital receipt that carries through on the blockchain.
I don't understand NFTs in that way. I do understand how they can be useful, but that was funny to see Keanu do that.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. It made me excited to see The Matrix. In a way, that was almost like a real life Neo moment. Because to me, like the idea of like NFTs and everything, I think they're really destructive and it's really stupid for the environment. And it's like, it was like a Neo was there.
Yeah.
He did that thing where he stopped the bullets that were thrown at him. Or it's that spoon moment, like, in the movie, like, what did the kids say? It's the spoon. It's not a real spoon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that was like the whole point. Like, the Matrix isn't real. That's why. Oh, the kid says there is no spoon.
That's it. Yeah.
You can bend it at will. Hey, speaking of which, what the fuck happened to those kids in that movie?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You think they would use those kids later, like they're older now, ready to fight?
Maybe they did. I don't know.
They were on the side. The camera didn't catch them. They were off to the side. Okay. So speaking of the Matrix,
right?
Clearly we're living in it, because one of the shittiest people on the planet was just made Time Magazine's Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Or Person of the Year.
Well, Time Magazine has a history of selecting persons of the year that aren't always exemplary. Like they famously had Hitler as Person of the Year once, and they had Trump as Person of the Year.
I mean, I think like the president of the United States is usually like, regardless if you like that president or not, they're going to be usually the Person of the Year.
It's consequential, sure.
It's consequential. And Hitler, despite being quite controversial and a provocateur, as some people would try to downplay, it makes sense too why they would pick that. I just thought it was odd that they picked him this year specifically. Yeah. Like, I would think like, okay, like if I were to pick Elon Musk, it would have been like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that would have seemed like a better fit.
Like early on in like 2012 or whatever, or 2015. I just found I think he's a douchebag, but I thought it was very odd. I was like, I feel like he's proven himself not to be this thing that people made him out to be over the years, and he's just a fucking billionaire. So like, I don't understand why they picked him. Someone on my Twitter told me that basically whoever runs Time Magazine is a huge investor in SpaceX. And supposedly, like a week ago or something like that, the stock of space, or a couple weeks ago, the stock of SpaceX took up. And supposedly the value completely took a shit. And this is like their way to be like, hey, let's prompt up Elon and talk about how great SpaceX is. For no reason at all.
I could see that. I don't love Elon. The thing about Elon Musk for me is that he often seems to come across as kind of like a weird bully, like a spoiled kid bully. Like he was making fun of like rescuers from kids trapped in a cave.
He called the guy, and this was years before, like this was still around the time where a lot of people in the public thought this guy was going to be like, he's the future, like, and he was just a douchebag. He called the guy a pedo, the guy who, because Elon Musk over the years has always been known for trying to act like the hero and everything. He tried to insert himself into everything and be like, my team is working on that. We're working on it. And there were these kids trapped in a mine or a cave, whatever, in Thailand. And they came with these like stupid ideas. Like
they were dumb.
They were just dumb. And it was like, thanks for nothing, buddy. You're just trying to get like on-air coverage. And so your stock goes up. I mean, that's all you're really doing. But a real guy rescued them, a real rescuer.
Yeah.
Not Disney's The Rescuers, which is a cartoon. It's different. Some dude, and he saved them. And Elon Musk called the guy a pedo.
Yeah.
Because I guess he lived in Thailand. And it was just like, what the fuck? So that was like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would bring up other things from his past like that. But I would say that was probably like his first real like entry into being like a shitty chud. Like, but like these past couple of years, he's just proven to be like a douchebag. Like that's another reason why I'm like, why would you pick this guy, especially with COVID and everything like that? Like, even if you want to say like he's great for space and everything, this man like put out false information and denied COVID for years. For like since the beginning of it, he said it was stupid. He tweeted saying that it was going to go away in April of 2020. He tried to break all kinds of protocols in California. He endangered his employees. He's incredibly anti-union. He's a union buster. He fired people that tried to get a union going. He moved to Texas to avoid taxes and to avoid regulations. He's supposed to be this guy who cares about the future of our environment, but then props up Shiba Inu and NFTs that are just like
very bad for the environment.
Are bad for the environment and are just money grabs. They're money grabs at the end of the day. You can call it whatever you want, say they're constructive, whatever that, but most people go into it because it's a fucking collectible. You know? You get it, and then you get like a dopamine effect when you find out the thing you got is now worth like double what you paid like the day before.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, like, I just find it really odd that they picked him. I don't think that he is positive on a cultural level in any way in the past couple of years. Like, what was it, that Intralink, that stupid tunnel that was like one car lane that went from like Vegas to LA. It was like the stupidest thing. I was like, wait, like what if one car like breaks down? This tunnel, like it was the dumbest thing. They showed it. It was like, it just seemed like the entire thing was a grift. I'm like, wait, this is
very
real?
Impractical. Yeah. It
was just so stupid. He's anti-mass transit.
Yep.
Recently he put out some bizarre video, like a couple of days before he even got the prize or whatever you want to call it. Where he basically was like calling for like not having to deal with governments, basically. It's like the guy wants to be his own government. He just
doesn't want any rules for him.
He doesn't want any rules for him. He's like Mr. Burns, like there's that episode Mr. Burns talk about freedoms and stuff. He's in Simpsons. Mr. Burns is not real. But kind of wish he was, because I think he would be better than most of the billionaires we have. Well, even I am not that big of a ghoul. I just want a vest made of real gorilla chest. Yeah, he sucks. Like, and also it's like, to me, all it did was devalue Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
Oh, for sure.
It just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why would, like, this guy like pushed COVID conspiracies. I don't know if he's an anti-vaxxer, but he still plays in that world of like just adding hesitancy
Yeah.
to not taking it seriously. If you're okay, he could claim that he is pro-vaccine or whatever. He can claim that. I don't know. But it doesn't matter if you're pushing anti-mask thing, which he did,
Right.
pushing and saying that it's blown out of proportion. He supposedly donated these ventilators. They weren't ventilators. They were something that was like the complete opposite. That was early on in the pandemic when they were dying. They were dying to get any ventilators.
Any relief.
And this guy was trying to claim. He said he did this thing recently where he claimed that he was going to donate 5 billion of his, sell 5 billion or 6 billion of his stock. But then he just used some bullshit like, what's the UN going to tell him? Like, how is it going to be used or something? And it's like all he's doing is basically saying his suck ups that you can't trust the government, basically.
Yeah.
You trust me, like don't trust.
Yeah.
I had some artwork I did of him like a year or two ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And I made an animation of him flying up. And I saw the person of the year and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, well, I already have this artwork. I may as well. So I
busted out. Yeah.
You could just Google search Time Magazine person of the year. You could get a template. Decent size template on the internet. Just Googled it. Time the person of the year. Slap them in there, kind of mimic the cover, the colors and everything.
Right.
Posted on both my Instagram accounts and on my Twitter. My God, some of the comments I got were
I'll bet.
Crazy. I got one guy who was trying to threaten me.
Oh, geez.
There's one guy who was just attacking me personally, which was really bizarre. He got really mad at me because I called him out as bullshit. And the person tried just turn the whole thing into an anti-vax screed. My favorite was this one person said like, I said something about like they're trying to bring up like therapies and like monocool, whatever fuck,
right?
Regeneron, all that. And I didn't say that I was against them. I said vaccines free and wearing a mask costs next to nothing.
Yeah,
I'm not devaluing therapies. I think those are important too. Like they should work on something that will make COVID.
They're a good backup plan.
A mild cold. But the whole point is to make sure that COVID doesn't spread. That COVID doesn't spread among the population. And now you just have people dropping dead left and right. And you're struggling. And then it's like a year later that you have an effective treatment. That still is not 100% effective in any way. It needs to be given to you very early on. And so if you have the funds and you're lucky, you have a good doctor or you have access to a good doctor that could pinpoint and say, hey, we got to get you those treatments right now. We're lucky we got you in. Here you go. That's not usually the case. Most people get it and they get it too late and then they die. And so for people to push, I don't take you, if you're telling me that masks and vaccines are important, but I should take therapy support, I don't think you take them seriously either. I think not you.
No, I follow what you meant.
These people. But these were the kind of clowns I was getting on my page. So that's why I was like, okay, this guy attracts like really shitty people. He became like a Trump supporter. It's actually funny. We brought, talking about the Matrix. Last year, he said something about taking like the red pill. And Ivanka Trump was like, yay, or whatever. And then Lily Wachowski, the director of the Matrix movie. I think only one of the sisters is directing it. It's not going to be both.
Right. I think the other one has something to do with the film, but not directing. What? I think the other one has something to do with the film, but not directing.
But this one's being directed specific. She tweeted back to them, go fuck yourself or something. It's an awesome tweet. Like, because it was like, hey, this is my thing.
Right.
Don't you dare use it for your anti-trans, the guy's a piece of shit. Like Grimes was like, I mean, I don't even want to bring her up. I could care less. But like, it's just, to me, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. To me, it always devalues the thing. And now people will say no one gives a shit anymore anyway. The magazines are dead. Print publications are dead. They're not what they used to be. Those type of big, like, or maybe I just don't think about them anymore. I'm not in those worlds. I don't care. Like I used to love the Oscars. I used to think it was a big deal. I don't even think about them anymore. I could care less. But I used to like want to watch the Oscars. It was a big deal. I'm like, I don't think anyone cares anymore. I think there's so much media now.
There's so much
media now that the Time Magazine does not carry that weight that it used to.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe I guess it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know why they picked him. I know you said that it has something to do with space, but there's a bunch of other billionaires that are funding space stuff too. And then it's like the whole like, okay, he keeps talking about Mars, how he's gonna get it. I'm gonna get you to Mars. And it's like, how about like we make sure Earth doesn't
Right. Go
like
bonkers.
like the people tend the thing about Earth that's great about it is that like we only exist. We literally only exist as life on this planet because of like just mere measurements in the galaxy.
Oh yeah.
The sun hits us and other fun things.
Well,
I mean, that's literally the only reason why we exist. And Mars is a dead fucking planet, and anyone that goes there, I mean, like your bones will shrink. You're like if you go into space too long. Like I didn't even know about this a couple of years ago. That like if you're in space too long, like what was it? Like there's those two twins, and one of them is a senator.
What is his name? It's Gabby Gifford's husband.
Yeah.
What is this guy named? Mark. Okay, Mark.
Mac Miller, the rapper.
So Mark Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's him. I think it's his brother who's like stayed more into being an astronaut, actually not a senator. He's an inch shorter than his brother now, or 2 inches shorter because he was on the space station for like 6 months to a year. You lose bone mass. That's why these guys have to like work out every fucking day.
Yep.
They can't stay still. You will shrink. We're not there yet. We don't have the whatever is on the spaceships in Star Trek where like they came up with all those things like there's a field on the Star Trek. That's why like we stay in place and we don't come back 10 years later after traveling.
I think I told you, like, I don't know, in one of our previous podcasts, when I was in college, I went to college in Orlando, which is not that far down the road from NASA when it used to be in Cape Canaveral. And they would used to hire kids to do experiments on. You'd get money. Did I tell you this? I was in an experiment that for like weightlessness.
No, you didn't tell me that.
You got paid like $2,000, which was a ton of money back then, and they fit my leg in like an immobile brace with like a tether around from my ankle to like my thigh, so I couldn't put any weight on my
I'm sorry,
leg.
when you tell me this, I just think of Napoleon Dynamite when he works at the chicken place.
Yeah.
The coop, whatever. Remember that? Scene? He's like working on the farm.
Well, they gave me like $2,000. They took a biopsy before and after. They just tested the effects of weightlessness on muscle, and people get all fucked up in space. It's tough to be in space.
So the idea that we're going to go to Mars is like, it's a fucking pipe dream. Like, that'd be great because it ain't gonna be in your fucking lifetime. It's not gonna be in your lifetime. It's not an option. You have one fucking planet. It's right here. Yeah. So this fucking guy, any of these assholes that say things like, "Oh, we're going to Mars. It'll be great." Like, okay, I don't take you seriously. Like I think yes, mankind should operate in a way that leads to people, spreading our humanity throughout the whatever. I don't know. We'll be long dead before that even happens, unless you become a vampire.
Yeah,
or something. I don't know. You become like a space vampire. Now this gets the whole nother thing. But like I remember, like it's like seeing like Jeff Bezos when he went to space. Like the first thing he did when he came back was he talking about how we need to basically move factories into space.
Yeah.
Like we need to move industry off the planet so that like the environment won't be as bad.
So I don't have
but really what you hear is we need to move these things off planet so that there's literally no laws.
Right. So there's no regulation.
There's literally no regulation. That's the same thing with Elon. Again, these guys are union busters.
Yeah, they are the worst.
He didn't care about his employees. He exposed his employees to COVID. They had massive COVID outbreaks in his factories. So the idea that they would, it's a very uninspiring move. There's better people that could have been picked.
Oh, sure.
Dolly Parton donated $1 million of her own money to fund, I think, the Moderna vaccine.
Yep. A lot of people were saying just make it like a food service worker.
Yeah, fucking essential workers, man. Right. Like the scientists that see. So I wrote that in my thing. I could read you what I wrote. And the thing is, like, these fucking people, man. Some of these people are like, yeah, life-saving vaccine. Ha ha ha. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What the fuck is wrong with Time Magazine? Screw the scientists and doctors that research and got out the life-saving COVID vaccine. Screw the essential workers. Let's go with the biggest billionaire douchebag shut out there. Guy is an anti-union, COVID-denying tax cheat who made his billions off of government subsidies. He endangered his employees while denying the pandemic was real. He claims to care about the environment while pushing environmentally damaged crypto and NFTs. He's making sure other companies can't produce electric cars and is pushing to destroy mass transit. He does this while making false promises of going to Mars. Mars is not the answer and saving humanity. It's right here on Earth, where we're from. I don't know. And I said on top of that, he has a weird nerd cult that worships him. He increases wealth immensely while lying about COVID and millions dying of it. So yeah, fuck this extremely overrated heir to an emerald slave mine. That's
Yeah.
too. What's fucked up too is there's nothing like really like altruistic about him. Like
Nah.
the guy, he went from being worth like 4 billion or something crazy before the pandemic to being worth like 100 billion.
Yeah.
All in like 1 year.
He made bank on the pandemic. I would say I like the idea that people are interested in going into space. I mean, I do agree with you. I'd rather fix stuff on Earth first. I get that that's consequential and that it's kind of a good thing. We should be looking at that. There's a million other people you could have picked for Person of the Year. I think essential workers would have been a good one.
The cop who basically risked his life the most at the January 6th thing. That one guy who like basically helped divert all the fucking violent mob from getting into the Senate chamber.
Yeah.
That one, I don't know what his name is, but that guy should have been like picked.
The
like,
young climate change activist Greta something.
Well, I mean, maybe like 2 years ago. Yeah. No, I don't. There's just better.
I'm just saying, like, there's other people.
Like some people will like, oh, they pick terrible people, they pick this, but like I get it. World leaders and all that, like they're going to affect the world. Like world leaders, our president, like him or not, whichever one wins. Like I get that. This one just to me made no sense.
Yeah,
like
it's a tough one.
Did they just flip a coin on which billionaire asshole? It was like either going to be Jeff Bezos. I think to me, wouldn't Jeff Bezos be? If you're going to go with a shitty billionaire, I would think Jeff Bezos.
Oh yeah, I think he's far
way more on a like supply chain, on like
everything.
Our marketplace, everything. Like to me, and I don't want that guy either. But to me, that would make more sense because let me tell you, if there's a guy who has an effect on our world,
oh for sure,
probably him. I think it's probably him more than Elon Musk.
Yeah, I think that's probably real true.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
To the next thing, I guess we didn't have this on the list, but since we were talking about COVID stuff, the Omicron thing.
Oh yeah.
One of the things going around the right wing is pushing is they're trying to downplay and saying like it's not a big deal because it's like the variants.
Sure.
But the big problem with it is that it is insanely more transmissible.
Yeah.
Than Delta.
Yeah, I have read that. I've heard that this.
If it's insanely transmissible, it means more people will get sick of it and more people will die. Yeah. COVID, even a low strain of COVID in comparison to, like, say, Delta, which was supposed to be like was worse than, I guess, good old fashioned COVID.
Right.
But to say like it's a less strain, it doesn't mean like, hey, go out and get it, you'll be fine.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like they're trying to. I mean, I'm not shocked that they're downplaying. Of course, they're going to downplay it.
Yeah.
But that's the big problem, is that it is so much more transmissible.
All the projections I've seen say they expect the next few months to be pretty rough.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, get vaccinated, folks.
Yeah.
Get your booster shot if I get these comments and these assholes like, yeah, you'll just have to get shots. So yeah, I'm like, I honestly don't care.
Yeah, who cares?
I'll gladly get I'll get a fucking COVID vaccine every 6 months if I have to. I really don't care.
Yeah, I get a flu shot every year.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't think about it like it's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Fucking babies. Fucking me. Oh, the jab. Like, whatever. I guess, yeah, hey, listen, you know what? What's his face needs an audience. I understand. What's that comedian?
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer, yeah. I mean, I understand. That makes sense. All right, let's move on to the next. What's the next thing?
Climate change.
Oh, well, speaking of COVID,
yeah,
that has something to do with climate change.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I started thinking about it because I saw the New York Times put out a series. I think it's called like Postcards from a Dying Planet or something, some real ominous thing. And it really got me thinking. And I was like, for so long, I've put Medicare for all or Medicaid for all or whatever at the top of my list. And that's still vitally important to me. But I was like, climate change is really the defining issue of our time. I mean, if we have a pretty good, clear sense of what we need to do, we're not doing it. It's real depressing. You see all the time the consequences of not doing anything. I think that the coronavirus is probably a result of climate change to some extent. You saw just because like the virus is able to thrive in a larger part of the world. And then you have those tornadoes in Arkansas and Kentucky there's just like a lot of shit
Kentucky
happening.
one was awful.
Yeah.
And speaking of shitty, like Jeff Bezos and something like that, like one of their warehouses or something collapsed and killed people.
Yeah, like 6
people.
Not
even a word from Amazon. They don't even like.
Yeah. It's stunning, how big and awful this is, and it's just kind of flabbergasting that no one in any position of responsibility is doing anything about it.
I'll tell you, this is another reason why I fucking despise NFTs, because like all these artists and companies that I follow, you'd always see like something Earth Day.
Yep.
And all these motherfuckers knew this year what they were doing was bad for the environment, and not one of them posted a thing about Earth Day.
Yeah.
Now I know Earth Day is not going to save the planet, and it's just some bullshit holiday where corporations tell you to go recycle.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. Here's a fun fact about recycling. It doesn't really. It just goes in a dump.
Yeah.
I mean, you should still do it, but like we used to be able to like pawn off all our like waste and stuff on like China. Now they're like, we don't want it.
Yeah. It's something. I don't know.
I guess that's why we need to explore Mars, so we can just dump all our garbage on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like it seems stupid to like colonize other planets without fixing our own first, because we would just repeat the mistakes elsewhere.
Right? Yeah. Like, how are you gonna terraform a planet if you don't even fucking handle like putting up a jetty that stops water?
Yeah.
Like.
So it's just real scary, I mean, there's a lot of this climate change stuff, and again, not to sound too weird about it, but like we're talking about, you and I both have kids. I mean, like by the time our kids are adults, they probably are going to have like very serious consequences of this.
There's storms. Like it is hot here.
It's like 80 degrees right
80.
now.
It's almost Christmas time. Now we had some cold days, but not really.
Sure. No, not this year.
No.
And I don't know, like hurricanes are more powerful, and
tornadoes are more happening. They're happening in areas that normally don't get tornadoes.
And at times of the year in which we normally don't see
tornadoes. This is not tornado season.
Yeah.
Tornado season has always been traditionally March through the beginning of summer. And then there would always be a couple, maybe like summer to fall. So always like the harsh change of weather would help create tornadoes. But now, because it's so fucking up and down all the time, another thing too is I see wasps. All the wasps should be dead.
Yeah.
The bug, the wasp, like I see them. They should be dead. They should have been frozen already.
Yeah.
And they're not, because like, so you get all kinds of fucked up, you get insects, all these things that should not be existing right now. They should not be coming out until like spring. This is the winter now.
Yeah.
Or not exactly winter yet. I think it's like what, the 22nd?
I think you're right. I think it is the winter solstice.
It's still winterish. I mean, like it if you don't think it's a problem, and then you get these assholes who are like, oh, weather's always been like this. And it's like, first of all, I never understood, unless you were like an oil company, a polluter, environmental polluter company like that, I never understood why people, like everyday people, like me and you, would be against like the idea that the environment should be fixed. Yeah. I never understood that. But these are also the same people that like suck up to Elon Musk or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's bootlickers everywhere. I just don't understand why. I never understood why people would think that it wasn't real. And why would you think it's not real? And how does it affect you in a way to not think it's real? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a tall order. Yeah.
I think like people in Texas this past winter, early this year, should have gotten a lesson on how bad.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't like, it may not happen again this year. Who knows? But it can happen again because we're like in a polar vortex where Texas is. All that cold air just comes down like a fucking chimney on us from Canada, all that air is escaping from Arctic ice melting. So we don't like Texas becomes this like, so if this keeps getting worse and worse, Texas, like our whole like fucking environment will just get like
Right.
flip flop. Also, speaking of, before we move on to the next thing, but like as our environment gets worse, that it increases viruses. I saw like some video of like an ice shelf melt, completely flip over. Like we're talking like a massive, just from melting, it completely flipped over. And I was like, man, I wonder how many viruses escape that.
Right. Yeah.
Like we have frozen, like there's so much stuff. They study the ice in Arctic and like just where Santa lives too. And, sticking to the season, it's Christmas time. Make a Santa reference anywhere you can. There's shit in that ice that's like hundreds of thousands of years old, frozen from the ice age. As that shit melts, who knows what fucking wonders unleashed on this planet.
No, that's a good point.
Now, some of these might drop dead the second they hit the environment. I mean,
sure,
but who knows?
Yeah. Oh, that is tough. Yeah.
I understand that they said that though. Like, Corona is the consequences of global warming. There is a sheer connection between the two of them.
Yeah, it seems real obvious when you start to look at it.
But if you just think COVID, if you think the environment's not real, then you also don't think like, I don't know. I grew up in the 80s and you would see things about like the environment and you would think like people were making like progress, and then like Bush became president in 2000 and all that shit just went to hell. And I feel like now people kind of just completely drop the ball on it. I mean, you see like things that are every year you'll be like, by 2030 cars by 2030 cars will have zero emissions. I'm like, that should have been like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like they're always moving the goalposts and people get waivers and exemptions. It's tough.
Like old cars, even if you're not a hybrid or a electric car, like our average should be at least 50 miles per gallon at this point. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you would think.
That's bullshit. That is such bullshit. The train, like, they could totally get that mileage. Now I know some of that has to do with weight of car, obviously, and everything. Like,
sure,
weight, but I don't know. All right, whatever. What's the next thing?
The next thing,
press me, Joseph.
I know. Well, we were going to talk about this is good. Mark Meadows and his phone records and the subpoenas from the January 6th Commission.
From Double Dare.
Mark Meadows from the former chief of staff.
Who was the host of Double Dare?
It was not Mark Meadows. It was like.
I'm looking this up now because.
Yeah. Well, let me know when you find it.
I'm doing it right now. Oh well, maybe I should actually type. Oh, here we go. Mark Summers. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah. He was
okay. So who was Mark Meadows?
Mark Meadows was Donald Trump's former chief of staff.
Good guy.
And he's kind of at the nexus of this January 6th stuff. I guess a lot of people texted him and about the insurrection and when it was happening, what they should do. And the January 6th Commission wants to see those text messages, so they've subpoenaed them.
And he was supposedly going to work with them, but then he
was going to cooperate, and then he wasn't. Then he was going to cooperate, and then he didn't. He's released a lot of data. That is true, and some of it is probably pretty damning.
A lot of stuff really it shows communications with Fox News people.
Yes,
like Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity.
Yeah, but he needs
and the Christmas tree.
Yeah, he needs to make himself available for live questioning. Is the thing, and he won't do it.
Aren't they arresting him or something? Isn't he?
I think he had to turn himself in. Yeah, I think he had to turn himself in. I don't think that's happened yet. My guess is he'll probably do it at some point. They'll have a mug shot, and that'll be that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where this is going to lead, but I mean, it definitely. I mean, it's annoying because it's like we knew all this shit.
Yeah,
this isn't like this great mystery. We knew that Trump organized January 6th. It's like a joke. It's like a slap in the face.
Yeah, what everyone did seems
Like-
pretty clear. They just need to determine what parts of that were against the law, and then they got to
thing.
prosecute them. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's look, there's a whole bunch of people at the Capitol that day, and I'm sure there was a few people that were just terrible and crazy, but that didn't do anything wrong. They should be left alone. If you went to a decentralized meeting that got out of hand and you didn't participate in the getting out of hand, and then you put yourself in a position to
you weren't one of the leaders, you weren't one of the people who started it.
You want to let that person go with probation or whatever, that's probably a good idea. I don't care. But
it's really something has to be done about this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know why they aren't. I mean, we talked about this a week or two ago. I think this is why Biden's approval ratings are going down. I think that that this inaction is frustrating some liberals and progressives, surely, and even some like middle of the road Democrats.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever. I mean, what I said. Here's this tweet from somebody. It's from the Sad Truth Reports the News. That's the guy's name.
Okay.
Breaking. The January 6th committee has subpoenaed the phone and social media records of the following members of Congress. And they're, of course, they're probably the best of the best.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Classic.
Lauren Boebert.
Boebert.
Paul Gosar.
Nice.
Mo Brooks. Andy Biggs. Madison Cawthorn. Matt Gaetz. Jim Jordan. Louis Gohmert. Scott Perry. And Jody Heiss. Now, somebody made a joke tweeting saying that Louis Gohmert's jitterbug was taken. I was like, wait, what? I'm like, that's got to be a joke. He does not use it.
I made a joke about him having a jitterbug at some point. I said that
I don't know, but
I said that he was not given a phone, that GOP leadership instead gave him a jailbroken jitterbug. And then
there's all these records of Jim Jordan talking to Trump. A lot of people talked to Mark Meadows. They weren't talking to Trump. Supposedly, it was so bad that Don Jr. didn't even get to talk to Trump. He was talking to Mark Meadows. So
yeah.
Mark Meadows is definitely the guy who needs to be put on the stand. He needs to have his fucking. He needs to be the one that is forced to give up the goods and everything, because clearly that motherfucker was he managed the thing.
Yeah. Look, part of me does want Mark Meadows dragged into.
I don't want him to be the only one that. I want him to be the guy that gets other people arrested.
I guess I'm just wondering, why do we need more? Can't you just look at Trump's phone call to the Georgia people? Why isn't that enough? Do you need more?
It's so fucking obvious. A Robert's tweet of where fucking Nancy Pelosi's being taken, and the fact that she gave a freaking that her mom was there. Her mom was there on January 6th, and then she gave a tour guide. I got a tour of the place that a day or two before.
Yeah, I mean, if you. All that together might not be evidence of guilt, but it's sure evidence enough to charge her, and then in court, you don't get the chance to not comply with a subpoena. You don't have that option. If you are arrested, if you're arrested and they put you on the stand, you have to go up on the stand. You can plead the fifth, but you can't just sit at home and say, I'm not playing, I'm not going to participate. So I don't know why they just aren't arresting these people. There's plenty of evidence to arrest them, and then if there's enough to convict them, you'll find it out at trial. So it's baffling to me that they haven't been doing this. I think every new thing I hear from the January 6th Commission sounds better and better, as far as getting justice, but I don't know why we're still doing this.
Well, I don't know. The only thing I could see is that maybe this is the real beginning of shit getting done.
Could be.
They're gonna have to do it soon, because let me tell you, if they don't do any actions before the election next year, this thing's done.
Right. That's it. They should have been. This should have been in the works day one.
There's so much evidence there. I'm surprised what's his face is not on this list.
Gates
the minority guy, the minority whip guy, or whatever he is.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, like he should be on that. You know that motherfucker was having communications with Trump. Come on.
Well, I get the feeling that sometimes we don't get all the information, like intentionally. That it may be that that they did subpoena his records and they're just saying like, hey, Kevin, here's your last chance to play ball, like, I don't know. Maybe there's more going on that we don't know about, but
I don't know what to say. It is a little disappointing. It's like, this should have been like an easy thing.
I said the day Biden got elected, I said he needs to do just a few things. I mean, they're monumentally big things, but he needed to prosecute Trump and his cronies.
They're not going to do that, or get somebody to do it. Like, just make sure someone does it. Like, he doesn't need to go on TV and do that. He needs to
a special prosecutor, or just there's a million ways he could do it. But he needed to prosecute Trump and the people involved in the January 6th stuff. He needed to do something about voting rights. He needed to do something about the courts, and he needed to do an infrastructure bill. And I guess he did the infrastructure bill.
Kind of.
But the other things, nothing. I mean, like, not enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, something has to be, like, there's going to be no reason why these 11 House Republicans aren't removed from power.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much evidence on these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, it really, really should be, this should be done. So.
Well, maybe it will be. I don't know. I think we'll see, man. I mean, we live in a world, I feel like we live in a world where there's no justice. I mean, I know we were going to talk about the villain, but I think it leads perfectly into this one. Speaking of no justice, Rittenhouse. So Kyle Rittenhouse, we talked about this piece of shit before.
Yeah.
He's the now 18-year-old, was 17 when he did. He's famous for two things only. He killed two people.
Yeah.
Literally, the man, because he's a man now, literally has done nothing exceptional in his life.
No.
Except
kill people. That's it.
There's nothing. And they're pushing this kid like as if he's going to be the next congressional candidate, like he is on the Chud circuit. He's going to be speaking at TPUSA, whatever the fuck that group that. And speaking of somebody that should also be arrested is Charlie Kirk, because his aid to bust in the domestic terrorists.
He did that with Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas. He and Ginny Thomas worked together to do that.
Clarence Thomas should be having talks right now to be like, you're resigning.
He should be in talks right now with investigators.
What?
He should be in talks right now with investigators.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, they should be looking at his bank records. Did you contribute to this? Did you pay to have these people bust in? Being on the Supreme Court? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It is insane. The whole thing just seems like it doesn't make any sense. So you see this kid now getting like that picture of him. He looks like fucking Howdy Doody. Yeah, he looks dumb. I realized that. I was like, what does he look like? I was looking at his pictures and I'm like, he's so bizarre looking. He's like, his eyes are like pointed down. He's like a little bit of a droopy dog, but like, he looks like somebody. He looks like something. And then I realized today, holy shit. Howdy Doody. Like the puppet Howdy Doody. If anyone knows what that is, I don't even know how I know Howdy Doody is, because that shit's way before my time. But didn't Ron Howard have some connection to Howdy Doody? Am I making that up in my head? Probably because he had red hair. It could be. I don't look. You know what? Now you opened up that can of worms. Let's see, Ron Howard. I was wondering maybe in the Andy Griffith show. Howdy Doody. I guess he just went on it. Yeah, I knew there's something with that. Happy Days episode, Howdy Doody. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Richie Cunningham had some connection to Howdy Doody or something. I don't know, whatever. It's just
Well, the kid looks like fucking Howdy Doody.
he does.
I just realized it today. I was like, holy shit, he looks like Howdy Doody. But like, that's it. And these motherfuckers are propping this kid out. Like, it's disgusting.
It's
so not
weird.
just these motherfuckers like not facing any criminal contempt for January 6th, but they're also shoving in your face the lack of justice with this fucking kid who he should have gotten something. Like he should not be out on tour. He should have been serving a sentence of
like
some
illegal
sort.
possession of a firearm or something.
Even if it was a fucking year, my God, nothing. And now this kid's making buco bucks touring, and like it's disgusting.
It is. It's remarkable. It is. You and I were talking about this a little bit before we started recording about how the right or these MAGA people just tend to kind of lionize random people for not like. Look, let's say you really thought Kyle Rittenhouse was innocent and shouldn't have gone to jail. All right, like you legitimately believe, like, look,
there's something wrong with you, but sure.
Yes, but I agree. But let's just say that was your legitimate belief. Like, I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse did anything wrong. I would have done it. Okay, but that doesn't turn him into like a hero or anything. You know, like that doesn't mean like you would need to find out his thoughts on other subjects or that you would want to interview. I mean,
what do you think of LeBron James?
Yeah, it's just like, okay. I mean, I can get having a feeling, but like, what are you're gonna buy a T-shirt with his face on it and stuff? I mean, that makes no sense to me, you know. And
kid.
Well, the chud mindset also will take something like, you know, Anthony Fauci or whatever, and like turn him into some sort of demon creature and say,
yeah, they obsess over him.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. Over Fauci is so bizarre.
Well, and you're right, because like I'm like a pretty progressive liberal guy. I don't really have any thoughts or feelings about Fauci. You know, I mean, I think he's
I know he does some stuff, and that what Kate McKinnon does an absolutely awful impression of him.
I'll bet you he's correct in his assessment of the coronavirus, but that's kind of where my opinion about him begins and ends, right? Like, he's
my dad, but no big deal. I don't think it's weird to call him daddy.
I would never feel compelled to wear a Fauci t-shirt.
Right. I mean, I know there's some weird like liberal shit on like people who like obsess over him a little bit, but I just think the obsession that the right has on demonizing this guy is not equal in any way to what people on the left care about him. Like, there are people who like maybe like him and stuff like that, but those numbers are so minute and so low in comparison to how obsessed the right, like that's all they talk about. Everything's like a Fauci reference. Everything, any decision made on COVID always goes back to him. They make him out to be like he's the supreme dictator that decides the fate of businesses across the world.
It's bizarre.
A new variant, like he's the one creating the new variants. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And it's the same thing too. It's like with the Jesse Smollett thing. Like,
yeah.
This guy was some actor who, I guess his sister's an actress. She was in that fuck, I don't remember what the hell that show was. It got canceled on HBO. It doesn't even matter now. I can't even whatever. But he was on the show Empire, whatever, and I guess he was trying to get some attention because I guess they were writing him off or whatever. The guy's supposed to whatever. He hired two guys to wear MAGA hats and beat the shit out of him. He basically did a Morton Downey Jr. Morton Downey Jr. was a famous like crackpot, like kind of like a Radio Shock jock, but on TV.
Maybe like an early Alex Jones kind of person.
Caricature character. The guy was like smoked cigarettes. The whole thing was like very entertaining as a kid. I thought it was very entertaining.
I used to love that show.
10. It's a great documentary on him. But like he's famous for, in the end of it, when his career started to teeter, he basically hired a bunch of skinheads to beat the shit out of him and write like anti-Semitic stuff on him, and it ended up doing more damage than. And so basically, he did the same thing. This guy, and I guess he was arrested, and he's going to jail for a couple of years for this. And the right is like so
overjoyed.
It is like. This is a huge victory for them. Like, it is the biggest victory ever. It's bizarre.
It is.
No one,
Yeah.
we don't give a shit. Guy's an idiot. He made a dumb decision.
Yep.
Who cares?
Yeah.
The only reason why they care is because he's gay, he's black, and the people that did it, he basically had him wear MAGA hats.
Yeah,
That's why they're obsessed with it.
That does frame it a little differently, but it is bizarre. It is bizarre.
He's not no one he's not in politics.
He's not even that famous of an actor, to be
No,
honest.
he's not that famous of an actor.
Yeah.
He's only famous pretty much for that currently. And who cares? Right. No one gives a shit. Only weirdo right-wing grifters care about this guy. Like, it was the most bizarre thing. I was like I said, I use like a fake account just to see like right-wing shit on Twitter because I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very, let me tell you, if you want to enter the right-wing world, all you have to do is like 3 things and they'll start feed with like tons of shit. Follow like 2 people. And let me tell you, I went on it and it was just like a field day of like, it was like J.C. Smollett getting thrown in jail was like the Ewoks dancing in the Return of the Jedi for these people. It was the most bizarre like celebration. Like, these are the same people too that get weird, like weirdos who like were super excited when like Amber Heard got fired from something.
Yeah.
Like, it was super weird. It's like, that's your victory.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a real tribal thing.
Like, would I be happy if Kyle Rittenhouse was in jail? I mean, I don't care about him. I care more about like
the sense of justice or
functions and how like you can't murder people.
Right.
Like, murder is bad.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't celebrate it and invite them to speak, get his opinion on current. What, Kyle Rittenhouse gonna go on stage and talk about cancel culture or something? Like, dude, you canceled 2 people. You try to cancel a 3rd person.
This guy. Obviously, I think Rittenhouse should have been found guilty and put in prison. I have much less of a problem with him being found not guilty than I do with his little speaking tour now. To be honest,
right,
I mean,
he just disappeared.
Yeah.
And went away and just went, I'm going to concentrate on my like trying to get my life,
put my life back together,
get to go to school. And instead, he's on this right-wing grifter tour.
Yeah.
And he shows no remorse. He speaks well. As well as I think the bar was so low.
He speaks well for what I thought he would. And look at his parents. His parents look like
they're the characters from Simpsons.
Yeah.
The hillbilly
Lorene guy. And what was it? Lorene and
yeah. Well,
Cletus,
like 40 kids.
Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cletus. And like
some folks will never lose a toe, and then again, some folks will.
What?
That's the song. It's like some folks will never lose a toe, and then again, some folks will. That's Cletus the slack-jawed yokel, or something like.
But like, clearly, this motherfucker has been being coached by right wing for the past year.
Yeah,
he's been coached. They've like propped this kid up after he killed people, and now he's speaking at these things. And of course, some ass would be like, "Are you jealous?" I'm like, "No, not at all. This is disgusting."
It's just such a weird thing to lionize, you know. I don't know.
It's disgusting because it's like, this is fascist.
Yeah,
and to say that, like, he literally went there to kill Black Lives Matter people. He was there to antagonize and kill Black Lives Matter people. That's what he was there to do. You know, people said, like, you can't call him a white nationalist. I mean, on paper, is he a white nationalist? I don't know. I never asked him, like, what his theories on things, but he was hanging out with the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with a white nationalist militia. He was there. He killed protesters in the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I would say that makes you one of the top people in the white nationalist movement.
Yeah, there doesn't really seem to be anything that doesn't fit with that description. And his parents are just so awful, and like his mom is just another grifter and making the tour. It's tough. I mean, like,
it's like he's Honey Boo Boo or something.
Yeah. Well, this is that group of people. This is what they do. This is who they like. This is who they are.
Because it's like such a sad, like, no wonder why they like love Elon Musk, because it doesn't take much to trick people
Yeah.
into like thinking you're amazing. Like, if you think this kid's amazing, like, he fucking killed 2 people. That's it. He didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
He didn't. Like, what the fuck? It's so gross.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's real hard to wrap your head around it. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just not good for society.
It's not. That's it. It's a
This
bad
is
thing.
one of those things where I welcome the great rewind that you're the great rewind theory. Where
Yeah.
you just rewind this shit. I mean, we're gonna keep going back and the back of Nazi shit, but like, yeah, it's just not healthy. It's not socially. It's not healthy on a sociological scale. It is like, just, this is bad.
Yeah,
that kid should not be. He should be punished. Like, I don't mean like, oh, you're bad, but like, I mean like, he should not get rewarded. Like, this is, people will compare him to like George Zimmerman. I think this is like 10 times worse than George Zimmerman.
Oh yeah, George. Yeah, I would say so. This kid set out to hunt people. Basically, George Zimmerman.
I'm not even talking about even the crime itself. I'm talking about the after results. Like, yeah, there was some things where they shopped him around a bit. Like, he used to appear at this so-called NRA convention, but they canceled it. Like, oh, this is gross. But this kid's like 10 times worse, and they're just like
lapping it up.
I mean, I made that joke. I wasn't. It's totally serious. He could totally, he's on track to run for Congress.
Oh yeah, I could see it.
What's going on? Like, he could totally run. He could totally run and win in some shitty, like, he just has to take residence somewhere in like fucking not Utah, like fucking Montana or Nebraska or South Dakota or whatever. Just get in the right district, move there. You'll win.
You can do it in any state. Just move to the right district in any state and you'll get there.
Yeah, he could probably move somewhere upstate New York or Long Island in New York, and he could totally be a New York Congress. One of the worst Congress people are from New York. That one fucking lady, what's her name? She's from like upstate New York.
Stefaniak or something.
Yeah, she's awful. Absolutely awful. A massive Trump suck up. He could totally move into there, and he'd probably win.
Yeah, he could. That's probably what is happening. Is that the people coaching him are picking a district and looking at, let's get you over there and start introducing.
It'll be just like Madison Court on 25. Yeah. I mean, if this stays on track. Who knows? Maybe it'll implode. And who knows? Or he'll be fucking president of the United States.
Yeah.
It is literally like something out of the Dead Zone.
Yeah,
that book.
Movie. Right. I read the book and I saw the movie. Christopher Walken.
When he shakes Martin Sheen's hand, and then you see that whole like him launching the missiles. It's like something out of that.
Yeah.
When Trump won that night, I remember the next day I was like sending people that scene.
Oh yeah.
This is not that far fetched. Like that scene with Martin Sheen, like where they show the future. He starts World War III.
Well, I don't know. There's gonna eventually be a tipping point where the Republicans that are in office are all like legitimately dumb and awful people. I mean, I like you could say right now, like Kevin McCarthy is awful, but maybe not dumb, and you could say maybe
I could say he's dim though.
Oh yeah. But he knows stuff. Like he knows how to like introduce a resolution. Like I could legitimately see a Republican Congress take over and they just don't know how to do stuff. Like they'd be like, I want to pass a bill, blah, blah, blah. And like they'd look at each other and
Lauren
realize
Boebert every day or Madison Cornwall say something incredibly stupid. And you're like, none of this, you can't do any of this stuff. You have no idea how the process works.
Yeah. Like
they would try Trump getting in. Like, what did Trump know about anything?
That was it. That's
why they did joke. Oh, they're going to make him the Speaker of the House. Like they were going to have him run for Congress somewhere. Well, he wouldn't want that. He's going to actually work. The Speaker of the House actually has to work.
And then
President's different. President's like a weird.
It's an executive position. Just Well, it's something. It really is.
Did you see? Herschel Walker?
Oh yeah. You see? You're talking about his kid.
his kid.
What
Did
the
you see his
fuck is
kid?
up with that? Yeah,
He was like, did you see the video he made about the
I saw a
gas
couple of
price?
them. Yeah,
And it's bad. Like, I don't even want to explain how bad it is.
I don't get this kid. Is he like he? I don't get his.
He's a black gay kid.
Is he gay? Did he come out?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's playing it up super in these videos. He's like super,
Yeah.
like he's just like doing. It looks like the Living Colors, those horror.
It does.
Living Color skits that did not age well.
I didn't realize he was gay, and I was like, it seems like he's trying to affect this. Like he's trying to exaggerate.
He was making up like the gas prices were super expensive.
Yeah,
but like he's
wearing a Da Vinci shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing like a sweatshirt while doing this. That's cost like $1,300. A sweatshirt, like.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, what does Herschel Walker know about like being a senator?
This guy's a moron,
But that kid, even if he doesn't do even if that goes nowhere, which it probably won't go anywhere. He's not going to be sent. Maybe, who the fuck knows? In the current world we live in, he probably will be. He'll probably be like Supreme Overlord. I mean, I have no idea. But like his son, who's obnoxious and awful, he seems like he's just trying to enter into the right-wing world.
Yeah, I think he wants like a right-wing reality tour.
He wants to. He wants to be like the next Milo or something.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Diamonds and Silk.
What happened to that? What happened to them?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Diarrhea and Silk.
I have no idea. I assume they're like a opening act on the.
Do you know the story about them?
No.
They were originally Democrats, and I don't know if they were like how progressive they were, but they were trying really bad like on the internet for a while. And it didn't work. They weren't getting like the response.
Sure.
So they decided to like jump on the Trump train and they became really successful because of that. They're like, it's super easy. Yeah. Supposedly they tried like being like they tried doing whatever online, but like as Democrats, and it just didn't pick up.
Oh, Lord.
But then Trump came along and they were able to like there was like one video or two of them that got out, went viral. Right. And I was like, these people horrible. They were like, it was so bad. So I don't know where that Herschel Walker's son thing's going, but he's obnoxious as fuck.
I'll tell you, there's a real. I just looked up Diamond and Silk. I guess they have a chat line that you can call now and pay by the minute to talk to them.
What?
Yeah, it's called Chit Chat Live on frankspeech.com. And you like pay a fee and you get to talk to them.
I should have caught me like just talk about something that has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah.
Like talk about Dune or something. Or not even talk about Dune, because that's even that isn't politics.
Well, I would say that like you almost could see like it being almost noble to be like, I'm gonna invent a far right-wing character, and grift all these MAGA chuds out of money, and like there's no victims, it's just like MAGA chuds losing money. But like,
I mean, as victims if you're pushing like COVID conspiracies.
Yeah, it's that not Slaughterhouse 5. It's that Mother Night problem where if you pretend to be something, you basically are that thing.
Yeah, at some point you are literally that thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can it's like cops that go undercover and others.
Right.
It's on drugs for the past decade. And you're like,
God, right. He wakes up one morning and you're like, I've like basically sawed all the limbs off a homeless guy in my garage now. It's like,
but I'm still an undercover guy.
Right. Maybe I'm just a shitty person.
It's like where's that, or was it the Showgirls theory? You hated the movie, but then you're watching it every year.
Right.
Once a year as a goof.
Right.
You're like, wait, I just liked the movie.
Yeah, at some point you're like, no, I think I just like. That's how I like. That's how I was with like Beyonce's music. I was like, this is great, and then I would like listen to it, and I was like, hate listening to albums. It. Right now, I'm just like, no, Beyonce's pretty good. I like Beyonce.
Yeah. Oh wait, I am an awful right-wing grifter.
Right.
No, I know that's the thing. It's like, there's a decision you got to make, and you could claim these things, but at the end of the day, that like, okay, well, you have no soul.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of these people are like that, like probably Diamond and Silk, and even like Matt Gaetz and all these.
Well,
They're probably like
Matt Gaetz is worse than diarrhea and silk is that Matt Gaetz is just a little rich boy who was given everything. Like his dad, like he's just a Republican royalty. That's all he is.
But these are all probably just generally shitty people that figured out they could make a lot of money by being even shittier and then went with it. They're like, oh, well, all I have to do is I already have like so little of a soul. All I have to do is sell what's left of it and I can be a millionaire. Sure. And it just seems like, I think that's what Kyle Rittenhouse is. Is Kyle Rittenhouse a terrible person? Of course he is.
Well, he killed 2 people. So yeah, he is terrible.
Well, that's what I said. Of course he's a terrible person. Did he have all these well thought out right-wing ideologies beforehand? Probably not. He probably just
had all the talking points of like just Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Probably hated Antifa, hated critical race theory. Probably,
I don't think critical race theory wasn't even like a thing to hate, but something in that woke
probably
SJWs.
Was worried about people getting too much government money so they wouldn't go work at IHOP or whatever. He's probably pissed off at all those things.
Even though he was on isn't his mom on welfare?
I'm sure. And then he went out and he killed a couple of people, and now someone sit him down with a spreadsheet and said, hey, this is all the shit you believe. And he's like, okay, I'll memorize this. Now it wouldn't stun me at all to see him come out with like an opinion on trade policy with Finland. Like
someone wrote it for him, but he'll learn to regurgitate it.
Yeah, like now Kyle Rittenpig has.
Man, if I was Ted Cruz right now, I'd be fucking nervous.
Yeah.
Now I'd be like, look at Kyle. Like, if you're a right wing politician right now, right?
Yeah, you gotta.
A couple of years.
You gotta step it up.
Matt Corthon's like, what the fuck? I can't walk, which we know that about him,
right?
And he's already in Congress. He can't kill people. I mean, I guess he could. It'd be weird though. But like, no, all these Republican politicians are gonna be super jealous of him. Like Kyle Rittenhouse was in such a unique position.
Yeah.
Because if you try and copycat that, it's gonna be obvious, and you're gonna go to jail. Like,
right.
This kid who's like in such a unique position. He murdered people. All the right wing flocked to him, elevated him. They gave him a judge that would free him, even if he was found guilty or not by the jury. The judge was gonna probably give him nothing or say, what was it, the free because of mistrial by
mistrial or something.
This kid, like this kid was gifted everything. And I would imagine some of these politicians are like, oh, what the fuck? I mean, what? This guy literally killed the people that these people hate.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a fantasy come to life for a lot of these people.
Oh yeah, tough act.
They would love to kill you. I went to a protest here. I went to a protest here a couple of years ago. It was like the Women's March. I went to one in Denton.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of guys walking around with AK-47s in their hands.
Oh yeah. Well,
you saw that, and they were not with the protesters.
You saw that thing.
I went to the cop and I said, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "He has a right to do that." I'm like, "That's really disgusting."
Well, there was that one right-wing rally just like a couple of weeks ago where the guy's like, "When do we start getting? When do we get to kill people?"
That was at a TPUSA thing.
Oh yeah,
when do we get to kill people? This was like a month ago at TPUSA, and Charlie Kirk tried to outplay it. And then what do? They just now they have a guest speaker
who goes out and kills people.
Actually killed people.
It's going to give
so fucked up.
It's going to give a how-to.
Yeah. Well, the how-to is all right. We'll make sure you show up a heated moment in history, kill people, and then be in a unique position where you get troll bots and all these other people that come out in support of you, prop you up as a hero. It's a recipe that might not work for a lot of people. This is a unique thing.
Yeah.
It's super disgusting.
It is.
All right. Well, speaking of, where are we at?
Oh,
I guess we can talk about this real quick. The Village.
Yeah.
I mean, the cracker thing kind of leads. But
About
the Villages real quick, and then.
Right. Well, the Villages is like a retirement community. It's like near Tampa, Florida. Very wealthy. A lot of people from up north get these places down in Florida. They either retire there or have a second home. The Villages is a sprawling, voter-rich place, super conservative, very Republican, and it's usually the first stop on any politician's tour in Florida if you're a Republican. Interestingly, Joe Biden did pretty well in the Villages, but the state of Florida, anyway, long story short, arrested 3 people for voter fraud. And these are the first 3 people they arrested for voter fraud. And they were all Republicans who voted for Trump in person and also sent absentee ballots for Trump in another state.
This is why we can't have absentee ballots.
Right?
Because they're going to vote for Trump.
Well, it does seem, and like I'm perfectly willing, if someone came to me with evidence, I'd be willing to revise my thought. But man, it seems every time there's voter fraud, it's a Republican.
It is. Oh, you
Every
always find out
fucking
it's
time.
somebody voting for their dead wife or husband.
Yep.
It's somebody like who did it in a different state.
And
There's
if you
all kinds of shit you
if
see
you
all the
ask
time.
them, yeah, if you ask them why they did it, it's because so many Democrats are doing it. I had to fight back.
Yeah,
But there's
the
no-
right wing has been pushing this bullshit for
Yeah.
decades of voter fraud.
It's crazy.
Which it's funny because they never talk about voter suppression
No,
because they're
But,
so
like,
busy doing it.
they never provide any examples of voter fraud either. It just doesn't really happen. I mean, like, look, does it ever happen? Sure, but not. I think someone did a study there's like 400 votes in the nation.
So it wouldn't change the election on
No.
the national level.
No, wouldn't change the election on a state level or a local level.
It could. Some of our elections are getting really close.
Sure, but like,
Good on a state level, actually.
Mm.
But on a national, no. I mean, the right wing has been running on this forever. They have
Yeah.
books about. They talk about. They act like it's the biggest thing. Donald Trump claimed that he did not there were 3 million illegal
Right.
votes against him, and that he had that guy from Kansas, whatever, that jackass.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
voting
I forgot about him.
thing.
right.
Like, and the joke is that you find out most of the time there's ever voted for it, it's always somebody trying to vote for a Republican.
Yeah.
There's like one case where a woman was arrested and is still in jail or something like that because she accidentally voted in a state that she wasn't a resident in.
Yeah, it was a black
Black
woman.
woman
I want to
that-
say in Texas, got 5 years.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit. And then they'll say something dumb like, "Oh, they're just old. They don't know better." Oh, they know better. The
Yeah, of
one
course.
3 people, they knew exactly what they were fucking doing. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not, but I didn't realize I threw it in the mail.
Well, it's just funny that
They all become Mr. Magoo right away.
when voter fraud occurs, it seems to be always a Republican, and voter fraud occurring in the Villages is pretty hilarious.
Do you remember those videos last year of people fighting each other in the Villages? There was like a Trump golf cart thing, and there was people that were like, "Fuck you," and that one guy like said like Heil Hitler, one of the Trump people.
Yeah, I remember that. Mm.
Yeah, what a
Well,
fucking weird scene.
God,
I wouldn't
yeah.
want to live in something like that.
No.
I can't. That's got to be like a fucking circus. You ever see like I've been rewatching Seinfeld. Well, we finished Seinfeld, but
Yeah.
some of the funniest episodes are the ones where Jerry visits his parents at the retirement.
No, those are
communities.
good. Those are always good.
That I hate that guy. It's this guy who is like an antagonist to Jerry's dad.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
It's the fucking pen. And they keep referencing that. Come on, take the pen. Take the pen. And he's like, don't take the pen. He told me not to take the pen. Jerry,
Yeah.
why did you take the pen? Some of those episodes are so like these, and I could just imagine the Villages are like that, but like 10 times worse.
A lot of golf carts, a lot of people not doing anything but golfing and maybe running up to the store. It's pretty
Talking
awful.
shit. Like
Yep.
just
Yeah, a lot of Trump flags. Yeah,
what a weird scene.
it is.
You know why? It's because they're just a bunch of crackers.
Yeah. Well, this is our last item that we have.
We're gonna get banned. I heard that you
Well,
can't
did you say
that word anymore.
crackers? Crackers?
No, it's cracker. You get a hard R. Sorry.
This is you said that it's not a slur and people don't use it as a slur.
I don't
And,
think I mean, is it a slur? It can be, but it doesn't carry the weight of like
No, it doesn't.
derogatory statements that were used against people who were either subjugated, tortured, killed, murdered for being what they were, things that they couldn't control because of where they were born from, where they lived. Cracker's not a thing. I mean, unless you were like, you hated the show The Jeffersons, like,
right.
Cracker is like, so the reason why I even said that was because this guy, Hassan Piker, he's like one of the biggest Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
He got banned from Twitch because he said cracker on stream. I don't know what the reference was to or anything.
Right.
I'm assuming it was not about soup.
Probably not.
Because, but he's banned. I don't know how long the ban is for, whatever. But he was like one of the biggest people on Twitch, like literally one of the biggest streamers on Twitch. And like he's banned, and it's all because of this. And it's ridiculous because it's like, okay, we get it. Like you want to go after like people who are saying like the N word, the S word, the K word, the C word, all these horrible words that like have historical meaning and weight and like hatred attached to it. And that makes sense, but like to then say like, okay, well, cracker is equally as offensive is ridiculous. Nobody is offended by that. The people who get offended by that are lying to you. Those are the people that make claims of reverse racism. You ever heard someone say that before? That's reverse racism.
Yeah.
Like I always was like blown away by that statement because it's like, wait, so you're saying now when you say reverse racism, you're saying that only white people, one, are allowed to be racist, or that white people do commit acts of racism. So to do a reverse racism is an offense on racists.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like
the semantics are weird.
Wouldn't it just be racist? Like, why is it reverse racism? Like only white people have the privilege of being racist?
Well, I mean, like they may not be thinking this when they say that, but like to me, and I think to like a sociologist or whatever, racism implies like a power differential. Like I don't want to use myself as an example. I don't think I'm
white male.
I have the potential to be racist, right? Like I could be racist. But a person of color might have a prejudice.
They can be racist too, but
from a technical sense, they can be prejudiced. You know, they can engage in harmful or hurtful prejudices against me because of my skin color or ethnicity, but they can't be racist in the sense that they can't use that prejudice to deny me housing or to get me pulled over by the cops.
The cop is not gonna. Like we just watched this video you posted it. I saw it on Twitter of like all these anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers going to a fucking cheesecake factory and protesting it. It's like, and the cop is like so nice to them and is trying to plead them to leave. And it's just like, wow, that's interesting. Why doesn't the cop just like, put his fucking knee on their fucking throat?
Right. Yeah.
Beat the shit out of him. Shoot him in the face with a fucking smoke bomb.
Tase him and drag him out.
Tase him immediately. Just tase him until they fucking have a heart attack in the balls. Like taser balls. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
One of the classics of Jack. Maybe in the end of the year we should talk about the taser balls.
Where are they now?
Where are they now? Well, you know where he is. He's dead. He's in the grave.
That's true.
Yeah. Where are they now?
But like if I called, like if I were at a park and some persons of color were playing basketball and I called the cops on them, that would be racist. But if I was at the park and I was jamming out to, like super white music, like Pat Boone or whatever, and a black family called the cops on me, that would be prejudice, not racist. It's like, because if I call the cops
the cop might come out in your favor.
Yeah, the cop would come out and just be like, is that Pat Boone? Come on. Because the end result would be different. I couldn't think of like Kid a Rock? Super white. Yeah, right. Yeah, Kid Rock. That's a better one.
That's Ted Nugent.
Is that Wango Tango? So yeah, like a black person can't be racist in that sense. Anyway, but back to the whole thing of like cracker. When I lived in Florida, like old Florida, like in the interior part of Florida, people called themselves crackers all the time. And it wasn't like, it was just what they called themselves, and there are restaurants called Cracker Barrel, and there was like t-shirts that said
there's like Florida Cracker Barrel. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, these are clearly not, if it was a slur, if it was a legitimate ethnic or race-based slur, you would not have restaurants called Cracker Barrel. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Right.
Or,
well, we had race-based slur restaurants, but they were
right.
literally aimed, like they were racist. Rainbows and a bunch of other like.
All these people that are offended by the word cracker, I dare say I doubt any of them protest Cracker Barrel restaurants. You know,
they like eat there.
Yeah, they
like love it there.
Yeah,
you know why?
Because
they're fucking crackers. like somebody like it was like David Packer. Someone today said like we should use that like that slur. I'm like, well, first of all, like no one's really using it. Like don't even try. Like this is not the same. It does not carry the same weight.
It's
if you're a white person, you're offended by the word cracker. You're lying. You're a fucking liar.
I can see someone being offended by the way someone uses it, but like no more so than they'd be offended by another negative word. Like if
they told you like you didn't get a position at a job because you're a cracker,
right?
Well, then that would be really fucked up.
Yeah, and it would also never happen, right? Like
right.
I mean, just.
I said, you see, the word cracker is offensive because of the long subjugation they had with soups and chilies.
Well, yeah, I just think that's such a non-issue.
It does not have a cultural, like, it's like the term hunky, too. Like, they don't have,
well, there's no power behind it. That's the thing, is that there's no, like, when you call someone a terrible racist slur, there's a power and a history behind it that says like you could die by what I'm saying here.
There's a literal entire political party, despite Herschel Walker's son is claiming and Candace Owens claiming, but their entire party is basically a white supremacist movement. Well, it's the entire political party of the United States. It just is. Like they could claim all they want, they're not. They are. Like they celebrate. They and to say that, like, it's just so stupid. Now, should that guy be banned for that? No, I think they should review it. And should he say the word? No, I don't think he should use it again.
Yeah, I agree,
think he should maybe say something about it and give a fucking history lesson on it and be like, well, it does not carry the weight of these words. And he was on, he actually was, he went on the Majority Report. He was being interviewed by Sam Seegabat. He had Sam Seegabat created a new segment called Cracker and Cheese.
Nice.
And they even said, like, Hassan for a point and said, like, well, by my visual or everything like that, I'm white.
Yeah.
Like he's not viewed as a white person in our society because he's from I think he was born in Libya or something like that.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's just there's no historical, like, people are not being thrown in camps. People are not being thrown in prisons or like what they did to Muslims after 9/11. They're not doing that to white people after January 6th. That's not happening.
No, and I don't know. I mean, it's almost like frustrating to argue with people that don't get this pretty quickly, because these are the same people that still will flash the okay symbol and swear it's not racist.
White power symbol.
And they'll be like, no, this just means okay. And it's just like, you know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They want you to know what they're doing, but they also want to like deny it. It's like,
and they also want to downplay. So if they say like the word cracker is this a really truly offensive thing, and then claim that like, oh, you're trying to downplay it, well, then I could say these words.
Right.
And it's like, no, you can't. You shouldn't.
Right. Or I don't know. It's weird. I mean, like, these people are very frustrating to talk to or to discuss, because they just don't want to accept zero responsibility for their own beliefs, even.
But it's like the people who, it's like, okay, who banned him? Was it the algorithm that they have that's not even a fucking person that found a thing and banned his channel?
I have no idea.
Like, someone had to decide.
True.
That what he said was that bad. The guy has said so many worse things over the years. Like, that's the thing that he gets banned for. Like, and I'm not saying that he says horrible things all the time. Just to me, that is
right.
It's like refer to a white person as a cracker is kind of funny. I mean, because it's like, it's stupid, but like,
well, it's like an impotent threat, or swear. I mean, it's just like, there's no consequence that comes along with it. So
It does not, yeah, it doesn't like have, like when I worked for some company, the owner said something to me incredibly anti-Semitic to me.
oh, okay.
And it was absolutely one of the worst things that ever happened to me because I was one of the only Jewish people in the company.
Yeah.
And to me, it opened up a whole like,
Right.
whoa, like, okay, so this is why I don't get like,
Oh yeah.
this is why this isn't happening. This is why this is happening. Like
everything clicks into place. You're like, oh shit, all that
Yeah.
stuff now makes sense.
there's a power structure involved. And this fucking guy basically reduced me down to being just a fucking Jew.
Was he aware of that at the time? Like, did he know?
Oh, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew I was Jewish.
Right.
My last name's fucking Israel.
I know, but like sometimes people can be oblivious,
he
you know, like,
he knew.
yeah.
He knew. He knows who I am. Like, and he said something like really offensive. It wasn't like, he didn't say something like you do. It was just something like, but it was awful. And it was like, and being one of the only one, probably the only one in the company.
Right.
I don't think there was, I swore there was no one else. It could have been. I doubt it. Chico, California, like,
Yeah.
one guy, he meant well. I was friends with him. He made jokes that something that reminded him of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's the only point of reference. Fucking Larry David. I'm like, I don't know if that's the guy I want to. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Pretty good. Pretty not good. But so I've faced that and I know what real oppression could look like.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. It's been done to me in some way, some form. It's probably done to people so much worse. So don't give me this bullshit. Not you, Just that the term cracker has any weight is
It doesn't.
Bullshit.
It doesn't. I agree that like you said, I mean, like, is it a term people should be using? Maybe not. And I also agree that like people can legitimately get their feelings hurt over stuff like that. I mean, I also agree with that, but it has the same weight as being called like a jerk, or an asshole or something. It doesn't have the weight and the consequences these other words do. And it's because of the power differential and the history behind it. And honestly, if people can't grasp that quickly, I don't know that they're being honest.
I think it's also another pure example of why we need things like CRT and fucking our education system.
Yeah.
I was too. Like if you had something like that, people were more aware. Not even use the term more sensitive because that's a bad word to say you're sensitive.
Sure.
Empathy, I know that's a bad thing, but just tell people, hey, this is not how we communicate with each other. Well, guess what? No one's going to use the term cracker either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I read an article the other day that said like if Republicans really gave it a shot, they'd probably find that they like a lot about CRT. What
would they like about it?
Well, that would allow for discussions like what is the experience of being a poor Appalachian white family, that never.
Well, that's unique to West Virginia, but yes,
I know. I'm just saying like that they might find like, wow, there is stuff here, because you always see like I always see people talk and they don't talk about it articulately, but they'll talk about like, well, like that JD Vance had like a shtick like that worked for half a minute, about being like a hillbilly or be like there's like, but like a critical race theory at least gives you a framework to talk about stuff like that.
Well, there's a history of white people being like subjugated against, but that's it through labor. But they did not have the same, because even like even want to get into like, we're gonna wrap this podcast soon. So. But like even if you look into the history of everything, even white indentured servants during slave times had it so much better than
yeah. And I don't mean to suggest that like a white Appalachian family had it as bad as, I'm just saying like,
but there would be a history they would learn. But I think then that opens the door of labor movements, and they don't want that, because usually any type of subjugation that white people may have had in United States history has to do with labor. Straight up, like the term redneck was totally destroyed. The term redneck was used for like supposedly unions, and then redneck became like a joke, like Larry the Cable Guy,
right,
and it lost its meaning.
Yeah,
and the joke is too, you would think, okay, a redneck is an offensive term. They love it.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
like one of my wife's niece's dad was like, my God, it was like his whole house was just covered in redneck stuff.
Yeah, there used to be this place, I think it's still around in Florida when I lived there, called the Redneck Yacht Club. And it was basically a giant mud pit where people would like drive their ATVs and shit around. And I'll tell you, when it was open, because it was only open certain times of the year, there was a steady stream of ambulances going. It was like a redneck version of Action Park or something. It was.
I feel like any of those people that participate in that, you don't get medical help. Sorry.
It was. I mean, it's literally people coming out with like, you know, you can almost have a sitcom where like it's just the ambulance. You hear the door slam, and one driver says to the other, you know, what is it now? You know, and it's like, you know, this guy had like, you know, he ran a 4x4 into a tree, and this guy had a possum shoved up his ass, and this guy had, you know, like.
The guy has a brain. Was it the brain amoeba?
Brain amoeba. Yeah.
Fries their brain to soup.
What is this? It's like humid necrosis. What was it like?
Run on by what is the water? What kind of water?
Brackish
water in Florida.
This guy's bloodstream is like 98% bush light. It was like,
Ew.
but yeah, I mean, like, the term redneck, cracker, all those aren't viewed as offensive terms, and they're not like an.
I think the funny thing about redneck though is a positive history to it. It had to do with unions, and I think it just became dumbed down.
Yeah.
It was like the opposite. Like, and I think that had a lot to do with Appalachia too, the rednecks.
Yeah.
Like a real now I would hear the term redneck, like people in the sun, their necks turn red.
Yeah, that's how I always kind of.
But that's not the history of it.
What is it, like a red handkerchief, like a red?
They wore like a red like scarf or something. I don't know.
I've seen banners like that, or old posters like that. I wonder if that's what they were talking about. Anyway, that's yes. I think that that the term cracker should probably be retired, but it's not.
It just does not carry the same historical weight. It's just
sorry.
If you want to have that argument, I'm not going to take you seriously. You're just one.
Right. If you want to have that argument, then you should be at some point protesting Cracker Barrel restaurants.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If that's your shtick, if someone's been protesting that from day one, I'll respect them for that. You know, like you
just going into every supermarket and destroying the cracker section.
Right.
Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. That was a joke. Talking to you, Joseph, sick. You're like, already, Walmart's open 24 hours a day. I'll just run in there.
Yeah. Actually, you know, that's funny. I know a family that owns a restaurant in Florida, out near Sanibel Island, and it's called the Cracker Box. It's been there for like 40, 50 years. It's a popular local restaurant.
Oh my God, they must be so offensive.
No, they're like great people.
If you say the restaurant on Twitch, they'll ban you.
Yeah, right. Oof. Oh well.
All right. Well, that got deep. I mean, there's a lot of subjects here. I mean,
right.
Downfall of our society. A lot of sociological stuff, and then
science.
Also the what?
Get a little science, a little social studies.
Yeah, the Great Rewind.
Yeah,
I just dread.
Right. I'm gonna read about that tonight.
Yeah. Maybe like clear that up a bit.
Yeah.
Like, does your poop go back in your butt?
I'll report on that. Well, let's see. Next, it's the 22nd is the next time we'll record.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about the last episode of
Hawkeye. Maybe we'll have had time to watch Matrix.
That might be a tough. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what's got.
If it's good, we might even have to do a Matrix specific episode.
Yeah.
If it's good.
Yeah.
If it is like the mind bending thing.
I'll bet you it's real good.
The preview looks awesome.
Yeah. I think it's
good. You notice he has like weird airbender powers or something?
Yeah.
Like the force and airbender, he's like pushing things with like wind.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be real good.
It'd be funny too if he like says something about NFTs in the movie. Like
that'd be hilarious.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That.
please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.